Hey, what's going on, everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. Now, I wanted to talk about one main topic today, and that is manipulation. We saw a pretty significant drop in the market. Some might even call it a crash since it was a drop of over 10% across the board, and it scared a lot of people off, right? A lot of people were very bullish, including myself to a certain point after the recent breakout that we'd seen. And I think it's just a great reminder of how you can't get too comfortable in a market like this, especially with cryptocurrencies, right? And this is something that I already talked about in the past, is the fact that we've been seeing a pattern of, these big moves towards the upside followed by these big moves towards the downside. And we're seeing this suspicious consolidation in between, which I think is manipulation. And what I wanted to talk here is really, first the fact that you got to be careful in markets like this. Now, keep in mind, I'm never here to give trading advice. I'm just here to share my personal opinion. But I think that it's important to be wary of, when there's these run-ups, to not get too caught up in the hype and then think that we're going to just keep going up in a straight line, or to the downside, that we might not go down forever. We're going to get a bounce sometime. And those are important to keep in mind because it's so easy to get caught up in the movement of what's happening in the short term that we forget about, the fact that history kind of repeats itself here. So going to talk about a couple things. We're going to go over some news pieces. The drop was caused by some fake news, it seems like. One of the reasons, at least, why cryptos dropped is there were rumors surrounding the fact that Goldman Sachs was going to cancel its crypto desk. That turned out to be fake. And I think that it also maybe had to do a little bit with the fact that the stock market dropped in line with the drop that we saw with cryptocurrencies. There's some kind of correlation between the two. As stocks broke out just a week ago, cryptos broke out as well. So I think there's a little bit of a connection there. And like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with manipulation as well. Now, if we take a look, typically what I would consider manipulation is things like random sharp spikes or drops, and extremely flat consolidation to the point where it's almost suspicious, right? As you can see here, almost for the past 24 hours, Bitcoin was completely flat, barely moving at all, right? And this is a pattern that's seen more or less on other cryptos, right? As we get into altcoins, it can be a little bit more volatile, which is normal. But if we go out to the 1 week chart, you're going to see what I'm talking about, right? Bitcoin, slow and steady increase, right? This could be considered manipulation as well, since it was so, almost perfect in a way. And then what did we get? We got just this random drop slamming back down in an instant, right? And this is typically, a dump here from someone or multiple people, but the whales and stuff who this is an absolute dump, right? There's no doubt about it. And then followed by this very suspicious consolidation, very flat, suspiciously flat. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start kicking back up within a day or two. We've seen that before, so nothing is guaranteed. But I would say it wouldn't be surprising if we just got a huge spike back up, right? We've seen that multiple times over the past few months. We could also start dropping lower, right? I'm going to talk about that in more detail during our technical analysis. Because nothing is out of the cards here, and that's what's important to remember, I think. So this pattern, very similar across a lot of other crypto charts. Bitcoin Cash got a little bit of an increase, very flat consolidation, right? And then started dumping. Ethereum, very similar, right? Extremely fast dump here for Ethereum. And Litecoin was, kind of just up and down. Not following other cryptos as much, and still end up getting that dump. I want to pay attention to the Ethereum chart here because typically when there's some kind of bigger move here, whether you'll call it manipulation or something else, you get some very subtle signs sometimes. And we got one for Ethereum, is this very slow decline that we got over the past few days that led to the dump afterwards. So those are things that can kind of help you when you start to see this weird weakness. That can be a sign that we're going to get a bigger drop. It can also be seen towards the upside when we start to see things get a couple spikes here and there, and it seems like things are cooking back up. We usually end up getting a bit of a breakout, right? So I also wanted to mention some good news though, which is that Coinbase is considering launching a crypto ETF with help of Wall Street's BlackRock. Now, I think this is a big deal because if anyone is going to make moves like this happen, right, I think it's going to be Coinbase. Now, of course, they've gotten a lot of hate over the past year, but at the end of the day, they are the ones making major moves towards bringing cryptos towards a wider audience and a wider range of investors. So I think that they can, make something like this happen more easily than maybe other more traditional companies. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for live crypto updates. And finally, pretty mixed right now over the past 24 hours. So we're going to jump into the charts here, go in a bit more detail. I'd be interested to hear what you think about all this. Do you think cryptos are manipulated? Do you think this is just a random drop? Let me know in the comments below what you think is happening and what you think will happen next. So right now, we are, and I should also mention that, just because there's some manipulation isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of inevitable in marketplaces like this, be it stocks or cryptos. And overall, right, cryptos are still doing better than we were a while back, right? We have a slow but steady uptrend, and if we can keep that going, that's really what matters here. With that being said, I do think that there's a fair chance that we end up dropping lower in the short term. The reason for that is I'd actually drawn this out. I personally thought we were really out of this downtrend, but I had drawn out the symmetrical triangle, just in case, and it ended up that we did re-enter the symmetrical triangle range, so in between these two yellow trend lines over here, and the end of that range is at 6,000, just under $6,200. So that's a pretty clear indication of where we might be heading next, in my opinion. And I think there's a very fair chance that we end up going there next, especially with this huge amount of selling volume. Now that we turn bearish on the indicators, maybe we'll get a bit of a bounce, right? Like I said, we've seen cryptos get quick bounces, so it is always a possibility. But unless we were able to really get back above $6,800 and stay there for a day or two, I think that $6,200 is the next step. And I should also point out, right, the lower the volume, the more likely there's a more likely chance of manipulation to happen. So just something that I wanted to throw in as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum next, see what's going on. Now we're going to take a look at the Coinbase chart here, and let's see what's going on. So Ethereum right on that $220 support level, huge drop here for Ethereum. I mean, if this isn't a suspicious candlestick, I don't know what is, but whatever the case may be, got a lot of buying volume here. Once we hit that $220 support level, it's crazy to think that Ethereum is so low right now, but it doesn't mean that it's time to jump right back in, right? I mean, I wouldn't consider this market environment safe right now, is what I'm trying to say. So indicators turn a bit bearish again. Right now, probably going to see a little bit more consolidation. We'll see if we can get towards the end of this triangle and then break out of the downtrend line again. I'd say that if we are able to break out of the downtrend line again, this is it. We are really ready to move higher. But we're really on our support level, which means that we could drop below that, and it's not going to be pretty if we do. So definitely have to be careful here. Like I said, nothing in this video or in other videos are financial advice. I'm really just here to share my personal opinion from my own experience. So moving over to Litecoin, a little bit more stable actually, surprisingly. So still not looking too bad on the indicators. We bounced off that $53 support level. Probably going to be reaching the end of the triangle formation here. See if we can break out of that downtrend line a second time. I think that'll be it. If we do, it'll be a nice increase from there, but nothing is guaranteed just yet, right? Let's go ahead, take a look at Nano, see what's going on. So we're going to go over to the Binance chart here, and Nano is got itself right back above 36,000 Satoshis, which I'm actually pretty happy about. I think that's a good area for Nano to be at, especially after the market drop here. So it's already in a pretty safe position compared to other cryptos. And I think that we're probably going to get a little bit of consolidation right around where we're at right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ripple. I believe Ripple actually got a bit of a bounce here, as I saw on CoinMarketCap. So let's see what's going on here. Maybe it's just holding up better than others. Something that's pretty typical in the crypto space is when there are cryptos that dropped a lot compared to other cryptos, they actually tend to do a bit better when the rest of the market drops. So that could be the case for Ripple, and it does seem it did get a nice bounce here off its previous support level at 25 cents. This is a nice double bottom, So if we're able to get back above 36 cents, that's going to be a pretty powerful bullish move here. And I should also point out that we did make a higher low, so that's also pretty interesting as well. Basically, Ripple holding up nicely overall. We just don't want to see it move below 25 cents. That's really the level that we can't afford to go below. Let's go ahead and take a look at NEO, see what's going on. And we're going to go over to the uh, Bittrex chart here. Now, NEO also holding up pretty well, kind of at $20 right now. We'll see if we can get back towards $26. Any move above that will put us back into bullish territory. And, looking at these cryptos, what I'm realizing is we want to kind of wait for a true confirmation of a bullish move, meaning that, we might break out above one or two downtrend lines or one or two resistance levels, but there are a couple levels, and I might make a separate video about this, but there are a couple levels on all these different crypto charts where, those are really the levels that we need to get back above to truly be in a safer area. So for EOS here, nice bounce off our uptrend line. We're in this symmetrical triangle formation. End of that is at 9,200 Satoshis, and that's where I think we're heading next. Overall, holding up pretty nicely here. Nice little bounce. So the path seems pretty clear to me at this point for EOS. Let's go ahead, take a look at Stellar Lumens now, see what's going on. So Stellar Lumens is, almost fell below 3,000 Satoshis. It does seem to have avoided that. We're now out of this shorter term downtrend line, and I think that we're heading towards the end of our symmetrical triangle here at 3,300 Satoshis next. Let's go ahead, take a look at Lisk now, see what's going on. So going over to the Bittrex chart, Lisk got a nice bounce off $3.51. It's kind of range bound here between that and $4.71. So I think we're going to see a little bit of consolidation here for Lisk. As soon as we get back above $4.71, we can expect more bullish momentum. Let's go ahead, take a look at Cardano, and I'm interested to see how low Cardano fell. So yeah, I've been saying this forever, but it's really just been kind of begging to test that 1,254 Satoshi level, and that's pretty much been done now. So that's been a long time in the making. We finally kind of came towards that level, and hopefully now, we might face a little bit more consolidation in this area, but hopefully once we put in a bit of a base, we'll be ready to start moving back higher. At least we finally got to this level. It's out of the way now, so unless we move below it, I think that it's kind of limiting our downside in a good way. Let's go ahead and take a look at IOTA for our last cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update. And IOTA is currently right above 56 cents. Got a nice bounce there, kind of tested that breakout area, pretty typical. I think that we're going to be able to hold up pretty well here unless we get a bigger market-wide drop. But overall here, probably going to see some consolidation initially right around where we're at now, and then hopefully a little bit towards the middle of this range here between 56 cents and 90 cents. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.